or lie to me. And it puts lives in danger, especially my little sister and my niece, especially Jamie's son. We're going to have problems. You want to pretend that's a threat? No, it's not. When it comes to bullies, there's a 4-step system with me. The first step, go to the bully. Try to explain to him how it makes you feel. This is what you are told, taught, and trained to do. This is the adult thing to do. If that doesn't work, you go to your friends. You try to explain that to them. Try to get some help. It's probably something that just safety in numbers will cure. Just walk with your friends. If you walk with your friends, people are less likely to target you. They're less likely to bully you, less likely to pick on you. Being as different as I am, having Tourette syndrome and being autistic, that's especially important because my mannerisms are different. It's not intentional. It doesn't make me a fucking psycho. Just because every goddamn fucking psycho movie has some twitch or a stutter out of the fucking bad guy doesn't mean that everybody who fucking has a twitch or stutters is a bad guy. That's just absurd fucking thinking on your part. When people talk about being delusional, I mean, that's pretty fucking delusional. I ain't gonna lie, that's nuttier than fucking squirrel turds. This is not the trait of an intelligent human being. So there's verifiable evidence. Verifiable evidence that many people hate me because of things that are untrue and are, of course, backed up by these people's voices themselves. All over my YouTube, all over my Facebook. You can see I've been reaching out and trying to get an honest court date to show the evidence, to get someone to look at it and actually look at it. Somebody that doesn't have ulterior motives. Somebody who's not drunk. Not beating on their kids. Or choosing drugs over their own kids. Or selling their friends things for meth. What the fuck is that about, Amy? And of course, when she thought Joshua Rayborn was gonna fucking kill her, who was it that went over there and made sure he didn't? That's recorded on my... You guys can hear Amy and fucking Josh streaming in the video where I was fucking explaining there's an emergency. This is after I've had to fucking get her kids out of Rihanna's hands in fucking Cheyenne, Wyoming, by doing whatever means necessary. And yeah, I broke the law there, but not what they fucking charged me with. It's stupid. Not only that, but they prevented me and Rihanna from fucking speaking. That didn't stop her from marching right through that fucking protection order. She walked right fucking through that. And as soon as she did, I was like, well, obviously it's not the situation they were claiming. Rihanna, I'm sure she'll fucking fess up to the fact that she fucked up and she lied and fucking this is the result. I had let my fucking attorney know that. I was like, dude, she misled the entire situation and outright lied about multiple things in it. And she admitted it, you know. She's like, I was mad. Well, I got my Jeep took. I had to spend time in jail. I was fucking abused like a motherfucker in that place. Here's what happens. They lock you up in a room by yourself and pretend you don't fucking exist while you scream for fucking help still. It's not fucking pleasant. What those cops in Rawlins, Wyoming did, I mean, that's pretty fucking illegal, but they did it anyway. And in order to even get the evidence of that, course, I got to record Rand Ingersoll and I got to plead guilty to a crime I didn't commit in order to get my computer that has evidence of the situation with both Rihanna and those fucking cops on it. How absurd is this? And guess what? You know who is there as a witness? Brandon Ratner. But, of course, he never came forward, so it didn't happen. I must be making it up. I must be schizophrenic. I must be delusional. Nobody tried to help me. I said, hey, Brandon, I need you to speak up. I said, hey, Peaches, I need you to speak up. These are outright fucking lies. Oh, I don't care, Sean. Sean, why do you care what other people think? Meanwhile, they got family there. Always. And ever present. They have family there, and that helps to keep them safe. They have their own place where they can lock the door. They have firearms. If someone comes through the door to do something bad, they will fucking shoot that person for coming through their fucking door. Especially the Nebraskans. Y'all got no idea how scary a situation it was for me, and still is. And these people aren't understanding that them coming forward would allow me all new court dates, but they gotta fucking speak up. If they make me record it and put it on the internet, well, you guys admit far more to me than you ever fucking should. That's the problem. Yes, I understand that for years and years and years, I listened to all your fucking secrets and I didn't say a word. I kept your secrets. I kept it secret. I kept it secret. I kept it secret. You all tell me snitches get stitches, and end up in ditches, and over and over and over and over again. And all these people, one by one, throughout my life, while they're telling me, kind of like the guys with the man rules. The players, they tell you, oh, well, a man doesn't do this, a man doesn't do that. You've seen The Wedding Singer. It's very much like that. No, as a dude, you're not supposed to say nothing. If you say something, you're the fucking bad guy. Look at the situation with Arabella Cleveland and my older brother Rabbit. Don't fucking be honest. That's the moral of the story. Don't be honest. Don't be honest. No matter how much you fucking push this shit on me, you show me that the rules for you are different than they are for me. Also, your set of morality is fucking different than it is for me, especially in a situation like what happened with Natalie. When you've got 30 people all at once fucking chiming up, hey man, people are threatening to kill me, people are threatening to kill my family, I gotta dip out. And then I'm treated like I'm schizophrenic. Did those 30 people actually exist? Well, fuck yes, they exist. I have those people recorded on my YouTube channel, admitting to that shit, admitting to the other people who are involved in the fucking gaslighting. I got screenshots that connect those fucking people to the Bollingers and to the Kellys and to the police. I mean, this was a non-stop clusterfuck from the start. And then people tell me, oh, you're putting my life at risk. You're putting my kids' life at risk. I'm like, you put them at risk. You're the one that fucking spoke up publicly at the very fucking beginning. You're the one that told me that people are threatening you and your kids. And you know what? I begged someone, anyone, to go in with me to talk to the police, and no one did. No one did. I begged for a place where somebody would sit down with me in my computer and fucking look at what was fucking going on. I tried that with the police. I tried that with my friends. My friends couldn't stop getting fucked up on ketamine and treating their girlfriends like shit. Not only did I rescue Chloe Pachovas the best way that I could in that scenario, rescue her from somebody who I had never seen like that. I also verified it. with Miss Peaches, aka Kayla Trujillo. I also verified with Kayla Trujillo the situation with Waylon Lolatai about after assaulting me, he assaulted multiple others. That's on my YouTube channel. To this day, yes, I could get a new court date and there would be charges brought against these people. Because, see, here's the thing, they have established a history of it. Dual County Sheriff's Department alone, 12 times, come on now. I think it actually ended up being 13, and they're probably trying to follow up with a 14th right now, and they can have it. I'm sick of this shit. I'm done with it. Put me somewhere and leave me the fuck alone. You're not going to help me show the truth. I already know that. I already know that it's going to take my death, and it's going to have to be a horrible death. It's going to take my death for anybody to actually look at that shit and take it seriously. I don't have anyone to talk to. This is the problem after I hurt my back. After I hurt my back, it was just me. I couldn't help people anymore. I couldn't come to everyone's beck and call and everybody's fucking sob story anymore. So then I was stuck there in Starbucks. Only myself to talk to, unless one of them fucking kids come in wanting to fucking smoke their weed with me. And I'm like, no, please, I'm stoned already. You know, even if I didn't smoke any fucking pot all fucking day, just the fact that those people walked in to come and harass me to smoke their weed bugged the shit out of me enough that I'm like, I'm stoned. I don't want to smoke any. And then, of course, people don't want to take no for an answer. They're like, well, why not? Why not? Why not? You know what I had to do in order to get people to leave me alone when I was doing research and trying to learn different stuff about ancient building and modern building techniques and a lot of the way that those things are made and a lot of really, really cool different things. Of course, I had to leave video games playing in the background. I'm pretty sure on, God, what's that game? Star Trek Online, I probably have one of the worst scores of anybody who has ever played that game because I would enter into a battle about every 45 minutes and then, I would do my research, and if anybody showed up, I'd click onto the battle and I'd be like, all right, well, if I'm playing a video game, people don't want to bug me. Everybody understands not wanting to be bothered while they're playing video games. You know how it is trying to talk to your kids or talk to or in my case, my mother, when they're playing video games. Are they going to hear a word that you're saying? They're all like, yeah. I'm almost beating my high score. Like, fucking okay. Now, there's a lot of verifiable evidence on my YouTube and my Facebook, the conversations between me and Natalie. The phone numbers that I had at the time, those can be used to get the phone records. But with me constantly moving around, not having a place to sit down and actually work on those things and have an address and actually have help in person, because I'm not doing this for fucking nothing. I'm tired of people claiming that they want to fucking help and then they don't want to help. They just want to tell me what to do, and they've been trying for 5 fucking minutes. They don't want to look at the fact that I've been doing this for 6 years and everybody wants to 5-minute fucking thought me the same fucking things. And through all this, I'm like, the only part that actually works is making the calls with me or going in with me. You need to be there in person, and you can see that in every single one of these situations where somebody was there in person, that it was a very different scenario. Case in point, Megan Messigatis. Until she made those phone calls with me, nothing fucking happened. She wanted to tell me, oh, they keep giving me the runaround. They keep giving me the runaround. I'm like, well, that's because you're making these phone calls by yourself. She's like, no, Sean, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. I'm like, this is the one thing that does work. All right, I've talked to many lawyers about this. I talked to lawyers about this before Natalie was fucking killed. A long time before she was killed. They told me I got to go to the mental health route. If people are calling you mentally ill, you need to get a fucking guardian, or people can do whatever the fuck they want to you. Nobody's going to care. And of course, all of these people talking to lawyers on their own, and the lawyers are telling them the same fucking thing, but I'm getting treated like I'm schizophrenic for saying it. And then later on, they want to throw that in my face, like, well, this is what they said. I know that's what they fucking said. That's the point, is that I've been telling the truth since the start. I needed you to come forward in court about that. That's the stuff I needed you to write down. See, that's the thing about these professionals you're told to go to. Jen Beebe, that's another one of those professionals. With all of these professionals, you can hear it from fucking Dual County themselves. You can hear it from all of these different other locations telling me to call these other locations. Everybody's a fucking referral service. When Jen Beebe, or not Jen Beebe, she never tried. When Meg Messigatis finally went through that with me, yeah, she went through it. She already knew that we were going to go through it, as did I. But we were able to do something when we made those calls together that had not happened prior. First of all, we were able to get me out of Dual County, where I was being actively fucking harmed often, and I had to be afraid of the sheriff. We were able to get me a whole week at a hotel so that I could gather up the evidence that was needed to turn them in to the Nebraska State Patrol, and also to turn in the stuff that I needed to turn in Colorado to fucking turn those cops in. Like, they have kept this up for years. And there's all these witnesses that are pissed off that I recorded them and put them on YouTube. I'm like, if it's not the truth, you shouldn't have said it. If it was the truth, you should have written it down and fucking turned it into the goddamn cops. If you actually tried those things, well, that's not what the fucking cops said, is it? And when you want to fucking bitch at me because they wouldn't allow you to speak, I know they didn't allow you to speak. I spoke up publicly about that. Did you? None of this should have been fucking necessary. None of it. Marcia Estrada, obviously, between my recordings, because in one of my other recordings, she actually goes further into detail that the other client is a female. And I can only guess as to who that is. But I mean, on my YouTube channel, Marcia Estrada admits that she can diagnose schizophrenia, that I am not schizophrenic, that I am not delusional, that I do have PTSD, that it is situational, that I am not bipolar. I mean, overwhelmed, absolutely. I'm having trauma responses all the time. Even these mental health care professionals admit that when you have to go in by yourself, it doesn't do any good. Well, they keep telling me that I need family to do that, and that I don't want a state-appointed guardian because they work for the state. This is people who get government funding, who work with that system. Yes, they're aware that it does not work. Why are they not speaking up? They're also aware that they are mandated reporters, and now they're aware, if they bothered to actually look at those things. Yes, I sent them a mandated reporter training video. Right? That mandated reporter training video explains why you're mandated reporters, and that includes the bond between, well, coworkers, especially in systems where it's what do they call it? Well, where it's established and basically ordained by the state. You know, nursing homes, hospitals, places like that. But the work dynamics to work together in that aren't just there. Police officers still have that same dynamic. Criminal, especially criminal families like the Bollingers, are like that. And you know, when these people say, "Yeah, you're right. You're getting completely screwed, and the system is not going to let you do that." Well, now we've got professionals who are recorded as saying that. Marcia Estrada has been doing it for 42 years. I'd say that's long enough to be considered a professional, wouldn't you? That's longer than I've been alive. Yeah. The other thing is the fact that she said those things and it's on my YouTube is actually biting her in the ass, because the things that she refused to do because they don't work are exactly what she's supposed to do as a mandated reporter. But of course, without a guardian, it doesn't matter. And all of these places tell me I don't need a guardian or I don't want a guardian. I explained to them, you know what, you're right. I don't want a guardian. I need one. I need one. Well, you don't want one. I get that you're telling me I don't want one, but I need one. A guardian can help me to set this stuff up the way that it's supposed to be set up. A way that is mutually beneficial for everybody. A way that keeps the most people safe and, of course, happy. So you're keeping them happy in the case of a boogeyman, which I've painted out to be. Well, you got to get the boogeyman off the streets. Otherwise, your approval ratings are going to fucking drop. Do you really think that these cops who have repeatedly had to let me slip through their fingers because they would have gone to prison if they'd have followed it full term, do you really think that their approval rating is sky high? No, they're not fucking well liked at fucking all. I mean, sure, in Nebraska, they're protecting them good old boys. Y'all want to talk about them good old boys? Look up Chapel, CHAPPELL, Nebraska, KKK, and you will see precisely what I am talking about. You'll also get to see the face of one of my predators, Joel J., who also was rewarded and allowed to flee state so that he wouldn't get in any goddamn trouble. See, there's a route that you have to take, a chain of command, a ladder, when you're trying to turn in predators, okay? When those predators are in law enforcement, in order for you to actually get a court date against them, you have to go through all of those different things, and it takes up to 3 years for you to finally get an actual court date. You know how screwed up that is when an officer can literally accuse you of something that you didn't do right now, and then 3 years later you can't do jack shit because the statute of limitations is up and you were locked up on false charges. Meanwhile, the stuff that you're trying to turn in literally shows that those officers are trying to hide their fucking crimes. Are you out of your fucking mind? How is it even possible for these cops to get away with this? Well, number one, they control the body cams. Number two, they can call me mentally ill and make it their word versus mine. Number three, they can physically and psychologically torture me and threaten and harass my friends and family for trying to help me. Yeah, these cops thought they were catching a fucking murderer. The reason that they thought they were catching a murderer is because they didn't pay any attention ahead of time. They were too busy giving me the mentally ill treatment and blowing me off, pretending like they're going to investigate, but not doing jack shit. Literally, all of these officers that I tried to turn in knew I was trying to turn them in from my YouTube videos. And all of them after the fact. That is what shows their motive and their intent right there. They knew that is what I was trying to do. And of course, with me recording these professionals who were supposed to be helping me, like the phone call with Jen Beebe, the one where she was telling me that she in the jail had misspoken about writing that report. Why was I going to Jen Beebe to begin with? Why? Why did I start going to Jen Beebe? She worked at Region 1, Nebraska, with Nicole Peralta. Tamara worked Region 1, Nebraska with Nicole Peralta. She's the one that was my caseworker with them before Natalie was killed. Jen Beebe was assigned after Natalie was killed, but she was fucking pissed poor at her job. Verified by who? Marcia Estrada herself, who was a co-worker. Marcia Estrada also speaks out about the situation with Cindy Taylor and with her boss as well. That was just one therapy session with Marcia Estrada, verified over a dozen of the things that I had said right from the fucking start. And at least half a dozen people that, well, you guys may pretend like I'm schizophrenic and these people don't exist. And the courts may pretend that I'm schizophrenic and these people don't exist. However, Marcia Estrada not only admitted that I'm not schizophrenic, but also that these people do exist. She knows many of the people in the stories. With the other people in Chapel, Nebraska being victimized by Scott DaCosta and telling her about it, she has advanced knowledge of that. There is a reason that she took me seriously. But that advanced knowledge did not come without a price. In addition to telling her about it, you have to show it. Which is why in that recording you get to hear, I brought in 4 telephones. 4 of them. 4 telephones full of evidence to show her what was actually going on. And some of my other recordings with her that are private for good reason. The first one we went over evidence, but we also filled out paperwork and social security crap, shit like that. You know, the stuff you gotta fill out for the state. Their questionnaires and stuff. Now, of course, this is because why Jen Beebe did such a horrible job when she was at Region 2, not just with me, but with many people. They lost their contract in Sydney. And when they lost their contract in Sydney, and of course Jen Beebe lost her job, she's now a jail guard in Scottsbluff, Nebraska. Ask me how I know. Guess who else can verify that? Marcia Estrada. She works at Scottsbluff Jail. She's their therapist. She works through the Cirrus House. The Cirrus House is the company that took over for Region 1 when they lost their contract in Sydney. I just got a bulletin about someone named Judge Kavanaugh. Alright, so getting back to these motherfuckers who are protecting rapists and child molesters, like Robert Franklin Warnick, and of course there's Mark Richmond, and of course there's Andrew Witcher, and of course there's Michael Albert, and of course there's Ted Bollinger, Tim Beeson. I mean, holy hell, there's a lot of them. There's also Rebecca Klang. Now, I'm not trying to turn in Nicole Jarrell. And I know I should. I know that stabbing somebody in the butthole with carrot fucking Zilla is literally sexual assault. But you know, that's also the thing about male victims. We're taught that we're the bad guy and we're trying to ruin or destroy somebody's life if we turn it in. We're trying to destroy somebody's life and we just need to forgive them. But that That's not what it ends up. It doesn't end up us just forgiving them and letting them move on and everything is fine and dandy. No, they go on and they either do it to someone else or they do it to you again and again and again and again and again and again and again. And these folks who are telling you to move on, they're not getting that you have permanent now consequences. Because nobody wanted to do anything about it. Because they wanted to believe if you ignore it, it goes away, and that has never been the way it works. If you ignore Russia long enough, Ukraine, here's what you need to do. Just ignore Russia and they'll go away. Okay, Ukraine, just ignore Russia, they'll go away. Yeah. Yeah, oh my God, yes. Why didn't we think of that first? Oh my God, Mickey Mouse. Here, let's apply this, okay? First, Russia's bullying us, right? So what do? We say, Russia, this makes us feel really sad and we're scared for our loved ones. This is literally me, okay? This is literally what is coming out of me for an entire year before Natalie was killed. I'm trying to tell people, sorry, Natalie is Russia at this point. We're using an analogy. And I'm Ukraine. And I say to her, Russia, there's a lot of stuff I didn't do that I'm being accused of. And people are hurting me. I got Belarus messing with me. Okay? This is not cool. I never done nothing to Belarus. Can we come to the table? Can we have a peace talk? Well, that ain't working. Russia don't want that, do she? No. She wants to fuck around with Chernobyl and turn their people green or some crazy shit like that. I don't know. So then, I'm still really not fucking happy, you know? I'm like, hey, Russia, we got people shooting at us. We got people rocketing our fucking houses. What the hell? Could you please tell them, yeah, we're not doing this shit. Tell them, please put a stop to it. And Russia's like, dude, I don't want to listen to you. You're creepy. Oh my God. What the hell? So then, of course, I got to go to Belarus. This is Tim Beeson. Dude, basically, lawyer says I got to tell you I'm mentally ill. And if I tell you that I'm mentally ill, you have to leave me alone or you're going to go to prison. So, of course, I do this. I do what I'm instructed to do. You know, I'm trying to follow the fucking rules. I'm trying to keep it fucking documented the best I can. But how well is this working? And you know, let's say the Ukrainians decide they're going to move to Switzerland. But then, of course, they're getting messed with in Switzerland. So then you tell them, you know what? The Brits keep supporting them. If the Brits love them so much, maybe the Brits should take them in. Brits are like, we ain't got no room. Meanwhile, Ukraine has a lot of support, and I don't. I mean actual support, people actually helping me with things I don't know how to do. I'm trying my best. I don't have the resources to do all this stuff. I mean, the amount of money I got to live on is not enough to live on, even if I didn't have to fucking pay for the vehicle and live out of it. And then, of course, we got people on here who want to text over and over and over. And we get to see this. We get to see these actual psychos, these people who are actually mentally ill, as you guys try to pretend that I am. All I'm trying to do is show the truth. Now, Jen Beebe, you know, this is one of the people I was told to go to. And this is actually her job. Her job as an advocate, working with Region 1, is the same as Penny Cooper's. working with the Sears house. They are exactly the same. And both of those women literally refusing to do their jobs, well, that actually, that falls under fraud. And that's not all. I mean, I am an at-risk adult, and those people at that point are my caregivers. These are my professionals. But you see how difficult it is to turn in your caregivers when your caregivers get to control whether or not you get to tell on your caregivers. Or when you try to tell the cops about your caregivers doing stuff that's wrong, well, they tell you you got to turn it into your caregivers. This is fucking insanity, people. And you want to talk to me about common fucking sense. Oh my God. How the fuck is that even possible for you to think that way? When you go, all right, I am going to ignore irrefutable evidence and run along with a lie because I got to see little bits and pieces. Did these people show you what they did to me? Or did they just show you how I reacted after a long time of taking that? Did they tell you the truth, or did they misrepresent the situation? Did they outright lie? And of course, yes. Now, we got a lot of people that want to get on here and harass people and bully people for trying to help me. And it's just like that in real life. And that is why the YouTube crap is so important. Folks want to tell me the YouTube and Facebook stuff isn't important, or they want me to take down evidence. No, absolutely not. When you guys look at those videos where I'm screaming and you go, oh, he's unhinged, he's crazy, they're only pulling one little clip out of that. Also, you can see, depending on the safety of my environment, how much better my communication skills are. How much more clear the things I'm trying to explain really are. But also, when people can overwhelm me easily, and they can, well, when I'm easily overwhelmed, my communication skills are shit. That's why I need someone there to explain it. Anytime I have to go talk to the cops, just because I have Tourette syndrome, I have to have someone there to tell them I'm not on drugs. I am scared shitless of cops. When I see cops, I do this with my wrist. You know why I do that? That's another one of those things that people have beaten me up for. Not just winking, but also for being limp-wristed. It's not limp-wristed. I have fucking Tourette syndrome, asshole. Stop fucking hitting me. I mean, obviously not literally, and not right now at this moment, but, you know, that's what's going through my head while people are doing that. I can't turn off Tourette syndrome. And the medications they give somebody for having Tourette syndrome, which doesn't fucking hurt anybody, the medications they give you for it, they got to give you liver function tests, and you have to get them often. You got a lifespan of like 8 to 12 years on that shit. You have any idea how screwed up that is? Tell somebody, hey man, we can make it so that you might not twitch as much, but you got to take these really potent drugs, and your eyes are going to turn yellow and jaundiced, and eventually you're going to fucking croak, and you've got like, I don't know, try to have only one egg every year for the next 12 years, and you might survive an extra year crap. Fuck no. That is not an intelligent thing to do, especially when they did that to me as a kid. Now, my mom, she claims that she never would have allowed that to happen. Not in a million years. But she wasn't there to stop it. Matter of fact, she's the one who allowed it. She had to sign over my rights, or her rights to me as a parent. She had to sign them over to Centennial Peaks Mental Hospital in Boulder County, Colorado. My God, them fucking drugs were good. Those were really good drugs. But they weren't right for me. They made me completely stupid. They made me so I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Ativan almost fucking killed me once. Not at that point in my life, though. And Haldol, my God, I don't understand why they put me on Haldol. Why the fuck did they put me on Haldol for 3 months when it fucking makes me so temperamental as a kid on all of those medications? It wasn't just Haldol. I do have to mention that. But that's what it was like for a 6-year-old me, being told I couldn't see either one of my parents. I haven't seen my mom in months and months and months and months, because she, even though they kept telling me in 2 weeks you'll get to see her, but in 2 weeks, yeah, no, she had fucking gotten unsober again and couldn't have us. But she was swearing to the courts. Or she missed her fucking whiz quiz again, so she's got to wait another 2 weeks. They ran out of places to put me. Then they had somebody else's record on the other side of the desk, and it was open. And this doctor, what doctor would think a 6-year-old could read the word schizophrenic upside down? Well, no doctor. Apparently, he was surprised. The first thing he did is tell my mom how extremely intelligent I am, and she said thank you. Then she signed over the documents that allowed them to have absolute free reign or whatever the fuck they wanted to do. Now, my mom could speak up about that. My mom could explain that situation. Was it that I was diagnosed as schizophrenic there? No. See, that's the thing about people twisting your words or making shit up as they go along, and then later on they're like, oh, I must have misunderstood. No, you didn't misunderstood. You didn't. You intentionally twisted shit into something that weren't to try to play victim of some crazy guy. You played on a fucking boogeyman, goddamn witch hunt, fucking bullshit theory that goddamn wingnuts got and want to sell to all their fucking wingnut friends for a profit. You went, well, hell, everybody thinks that anyway. If I fucking ride that wave, we can take it all the way into shore, and that's what you did. Unfortunately, that metaphor and analogy there, and there was one of each, people are going to try to twist, of course, as always, to try to pretend like I'm dreaming that I'm on a sandy beach in sunny California with Santa Claus drinking margaritas. Oh, yeah, and of course, the hallmarks of when you want to pretend somebody is schizophrenic, I got to pretend like I'm Jesus. Absolutely not. Now, making analogies and comparisons is not the same thing as claiming that you are. Zach Boatman thinks he's fucking Satan from time to time. Well, all right, he thinks he's Lucifer. He's actually had some very scary arguments with me because I accidentally called him Satan and not Lucifer. But then he also has told me that he is Satan. So, I mean, sorry about that. I had to belch, but it... I guess we should stick with the verifiable evidence, though, right? So we got Miss Peaches on there, and she verifies the situation with Waylon Lola Ty, and that I had already been working on that well ahead of time, and she was helping me with that as well. She also verified that although they wanted to pretend I wasn't trying to get help and wasn't going to a therapist, well, Nicole Peralta can verify that she is a therapist that I was trying to see at that point in time. And Miss Peaches can verify that she not only set up the appointment at one of these therapists in Longmont, but she took me. Miss Peaches was doing things, and then we were cut off from doing that. We were cut off from getting help. Over and over again. And of course, even with the recordings that I have on YouTube, the problem is the cops won't look at that. The courts won't look at that. You won't even look at that. You only care about the entertainment aspect of it, or the vengeance aspect. You listen to one of these web sleuth groups, or you watch one of these YouTube channels about Natalie Bollinger and her death, and you listen to all of my predators, and you refuse to see if it's even close to the truth. And obviously it's not. Now, that video with Miss Peaches, yeah, that's fucking incriminating against her. She wanted to tell me she was afraid for her kids. Well, I'm afraid for a lot of people's kids. And all of them are at risk, Miss Peaches. All of them. All of them are at risk. Candace? All of them. These fucking wingnuts that I gotta deal with, like Layla Johnson and Kara Johnson Miles, not giving a fuck about these people's kids. Not caring about Danica Garner's kids. Not caring about Rose Kelly's kids. Not caring about Rochelle Shelley Campbell's kids. But you know who did? Me. I did everything I could to keep them safe, but they didn't understand that speaking out is the way to keep them safe. If anything fucking happens to them, Natalie did the right thing. If I actually had been the bad guy. Obviously, she was severely fucked up in the head. She tried to frame me for her own fucking death. How fucked up is that? And of course, that is all verifiable. Me getting blackmailed and me trying to explain that shit, you know, there's a lot of it that's verifiable in that computer and in the other computer and in those phones. But the stuff that is on my YouTube shows that these people exist and that I did take it to them. I did show it to them. Or at least I tried. It's not my fault if they refuse to look. See, that's where everybody wants to do this whole, well, it's not my fault, it's not my fault, it's not my fault. I never stopped trying. And most of you never fucking started. If the things you told me are true, those things will put away bad judges. Those things will put away the Bollingers. Those things will put Ted Bollinger behind fucking bars forever. Those things will put those officers in Boulder County, and not just in Boulder County. Many of them will be going to fucking prison. But you guys have to fucking speak up. The things that they did to me in those court dates, and the things that these people speak about with me on my YouTube channel, they show that either these people lied or the fucking cops lied. And it's obviously both things cannot be true at once. With Megan Misigatis, there are recordings on here with her and Amanda DeMett that show that I told the truth. And with Brandon Ratner as well. When they wanted to misunderstand shit, I got hurt. When they wanted to talk over me or talk about themselves instead of finding out what was going on, I'm not able to tell them what's going on anymore. Now I'm frustrated because it is important for them to know the impact of this shit on my life. And of course, even the ones like Megan Misigatis, even knowing the impact on my life, when she's angry, she ignores the impact on my life and wants to pretend otherwise. Anyway, this idiot right here is, of course, getting on my nerves. So what are we gonna... What do we do when we have somebody on my channel trolling me? Actually, you know what? Let's see. Hide user on this channel. You know what? You can't do that in person. You can't do that to people in person. If they're up in your face and they want to scream at you and yell at you and call you this and call you that and smack you around a little bit, they can do that in person. There is no pause button, there's no stop button, there's no block button, and there's no hide user from this channel in real life. When you're in a subservient position, you got to keep quiet and you got to take it if they're abusive. A subservient position You got to keep quiet and you got to take it if they're abusive, especially when it's something as serious as this situation. I am proud of the things that I have done, but my sense of pride is different than yours. If I break the law, it's done in the commission of saving lives. These people have all broken the law in the commission of trying to hide crimes that they have committed. Crimes that got people killed. Crimes that got innocent people blamed. And yeah, several people have been killed since I first became in contact with Megan Misigatis. Several people are dead, including several people that I was accused and am still accused of killing. That shit with TJ and Mike, that's not fucking cool. Christine Buhit overdosed on fucking fentanyl in her apartment in Boulder, Colorado. What the fuck does that have to do with me? Well, I predicted it. So naturally, they want to assume. Natalie's shit, that was pretty fucking predictable, wasn't it? I'm not sure if you guys saw the hell that she lived through, but you guys want to pretend there's no possible way I could have lived through it. The situation in Virginia, that's verifiable on my fucking YouTube as well, because my hospital paperwork from Chesapeake, Virginia, and my fucking arrest record are on here. Guess what's not on it? Nothing in fucking Virginia. Nothing at all. Yeah, sure, pretend I was fucking arrested. I wasn't. I was taken to the hospital. My hospital records, I showed my hospital paperwork, the actual hospital paperwork. By their own admission, on that piece of paperwork, I was hooked up to their fucking liquids for 4.5 hours. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty fucking dehydrated. No, I wasn't fucking thinking well at that point in time. No, I wasn't able to sleep at that point in time. I didn't know how I was going to get fucking home. I had no idea how I was going to get back to Boulder. I'm fucking dehydrated. I'm scared shitless because, I mean, here's Natalie and Alicia. Natalie's been cool, you know. There was a situation on my birthday where she snapped at me a little bit over something that wasn't my fault, and she's a sweetheart. She admitted it. She said she was sorry. But that was the last time I ever saw her. You know, it was like 5 days later, 4 days later, something like that, where I was stuck in the middle of the road over that broken phone that I'd gotten for my birthday. The last time I ever saw her, my birthday, October 18th, 2016, when I was stuck in the fucking road with a vehicle that, no, obviously, I do want to bring up David and Laura Nelson on this, okay? They did not sell me that vehicle with that problem already existing with the intent of me getting hurt. It is not their fault that it got busted out in the middle of the road. It's not their fault that I was dehydrated. It's not their fault at all that the Kelly family, Natalie Bollinger's mom and all that, it's not Laura and David Nelson's fault that any of that happened. The problem that was pre-existing with the vehicle, I mean, there's a reason I was stuck between two road cones going like this, pushing on the gas as hard as it would go. And I'm going, where the fuck, why am I stuck? Why won't anything work? Well, the reason nothing would work is because I hadn't slept for 5 days. I was having a severe fucking panic attack. I was severely fucking dehydrated. And the only people that I fucking know in town, because Brett Roloff is in fucking jail and I don't have the money to go see any of the other people that I was wanting to go see because of the fucking money that I spent to go rescue Jamie Curtis. And you guys are seeing how, obviously, I can't even try to rush that out of my mouth and do it in one breath. How is that possible? I mean, this is the most incredibly stupid, fucked up situation I could possibly be in. The phone that I had that was broken, that was a gift for my birthday, and it was broken when it was given to me. Why the hell would Alicia Bollinger change a phone that was in my name and my phone number and change that, literally that phone number, onto a broken phone in her name and give that phone to me for my birthday and not be willing to admit to it? If somebody bothered to get that fucking record from Cricket, but how am I supposed to do that? Bouncing around from place to place. The other thing is, why would they give it to me? That phone number went from being in my name to being in Alicia Bollinger's name. I mean, that right there is irrefutable fucking proof. Yes, that phone, that busted phone that I told you that Alicia Bollinger transferred into her name, she did. If I was fucking stalking somebody, why are they doing that shit? Why are they inviting me to go places? Why are they insisting when I say, you know what, we don't have to go anywhere on my birthday. We don't have to nothing on my birthday. I was understanding. No, she was insistent that I have to. But nobody wants to look at that. Nobody wants to look at the situation after Natalie died with Mike Budette and Jennifer Jusowski. You look at the Jennifer Jusowski, right? When she first wrote her thing in Heavy D. Oh my God, it was fucked up. Later on, when she got to see some of the evidence, she changed it a little bit so that she took out the stuff that she would get fucking sued for if she left it in. But by that time, everybody'd read all the fucking slanderous version and the changes that she made it. Instead of writing a new article, she went back and edited a previous article. Now, I'm sure there's people that have screenshots of the original article. I might, but I got lots of stuff to go through. And if I did have it, that doesn't mean I still do with everything that was stolen. I do have evidence of the situations where stuff was stolen, though. And how cops treated me when I tried to turn it in. And how pissed off Starbucks employees were when the cops wouldn't do their jobs. Verifiable on my YouTube channel. The stories that I've been telling for the last few years. I tell you where it all started, and I keep that up. I keep telling you why I'm in the situation that I'm in, but I also show you that I'm telling the truth every step of the way. The biggest issue that I have is the more stressed out I am, the less likely my words are going to come together. And if they don't come together right because I am super fucking stressed, well, you guys are going to get the wrong idea, which is a lot of the reason I just need you to take the evidence and look at it. Look at the times, look at the days. The things that you guys are horribly harming me for, I want to see the evidence that these things happened. I want to see the evidence of your accusations. I've never gotten to. And that's the problem with cops committing felonies when they think they're going to have an easy one. Like Mark Peterson claimed in that interview. That's right. He admitted they thought it was going to be an easy one. They had already identified her body via tattoos. So they knew it was her, but they had to wait for the coroner. So they already knew it was her when they spoke with me. They were playing retarded because of the coroner. This is the excuses that they're making because they know if I get access to those fucking videos, they got to be able to account for all of the bullshit that they did now. The stuff that people wanted to pretend I was schizophrenic for saying. Since this is a fucking murder, they don't have the luxury of destroying that. So the other thing is, when it's shown that much of that shit that they're saying and claiming are outright lies, well, they say things like, oh, well, it was so many years ago. And you get to hear the situation with Alicia. Oh my God, she is such a twisted fucking manipulator. Like, between her and Natalie, Natalie was fucking genuine. Natalie was pissed off because Alicia was trying to fucking fight for my attention, and she gets it. She explained that Alicia is the popular one. She's always got to give it up to whatever Alicia wants. If she has a boyfriend Alicia doesn't like, well, she get rid of him. But then she decided she didn't like doing that because then Alicia wanted to be friends with her ex-boyfriends. I didn't want people to tell me all their fucking family business. With Tony DeStassi, he was a witness to a lot of different shit. I didn't want to fucking show the world all of his fucking family business. I called him up about Daniel Kitlett's fucking death and several other things that I needed him to verify that he did verify, but he's angry because there's his personal business in there. Well, excuse me, says I. If your personal business is the reason that you didn't help, you should have told the cops. You shouldn't have made me record you after the fact. King of Nichols admitted on my YouTube channel she's pissed off. She tried to have that removed too. She knows Tony DeStassi because she used to work for him at the pedestrian shop in Boulder, Colorado that I lived in the recycling bins and behind the recycling bins of, right behind their store. You get to hear Anna Alford also speaking about the situation and how much it messed me up when Daniel Kitlitz was killed. Yanking his trousers down to his knees, pulled his pockets out. Why'd they pull his pants down to his knees? In case he was cup stuffing. You know what that is? That's where you take your stash and you tuck it up underneath your male parts so that if somebody decides they're going to search you, they don't feel your stuff. They'll have to get a dog or arrest you on something to find it. So when these people killed Danny, they knew he was overdosing. Apparently one of them was at least kind enough at like 4 o'clock in the morning or some shit. At least they were kind enough to say there was a man not breathing and unresponsive. They called it in, apparently, from the Boulder bus station, apparently. And that's not okay. Tony DeStassi, that was 10 o'clock in the fucking morning. This is hours after they got that call. Natalie Bollinger is the second person that I knew where cops had fucked up completely over somebody that I care about that resulted in them being fucking dead, and I got to deal with Sergeant Gerhardt covering up for the wrongdoing of Boulder County fucking badges. Not cool. Also, verifiable. You guys, you weekend warriors, you're coming on after listening to one show that was all slander. All these court dates I was illegally prevented from going to, prevented from showing evidence, didn't have help showing evidence. And of course, it all comes down to, well, let's look at these situations. I'm supposed to go to Jen Beebe. This is who I'm told to go to turn in these crimes, right? So I go to Jen Beebe and she doesn't do it, 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 and she doesn't do it. Well, it results in people committing many more crimes against me, and she just isn't fucking getting it. She doesn't hear the words coming out of my mouth. Now, the folks who keep posting up all these Natalie Bollinger things, they want to find the parts where I'm screaming and cut it down so that it's just one tiny part of a big picture. and use that one little tiny part that they cut off mid-sentence. Because I'm screaming, I must be horrible. No, I'm screaming because I am fucking fed up with this shit. Nobody listened when I spoke nicely. You can hear in multiple conversations with people, months and months and months of saying the same thing to them, and them telling me things like I'm talking in circles when they're making the same suggestions over and over again. And of course telling me things that I already know, and I'm repeatedly telling them, don't tell me, tell the cops. I already know. Tell the public. Don't tell me anything that you wouldn't tell the cops. Because I'm going to tell the cops. If the cops won't listen, then I will go to the public. And then, of course, they don't go to the cops about it. They don't make a police report about it. And what do? I post it up in public after trying to go to the cops. So let's explain this. Step 1, go to your friends. Or no, step 1, go to the bully. If that doesn't work, step 2, go to your friends for help. Safety in numbers. If that doesn't work, step 3. Well, now you got to pull out the big boys and you got to go to a teacher, preacher, or a cop. If that doesn't work, then you have to go through the whole cycle all over again. And of course, record every single one of these people through every step of the way, because they're all going to fucking bullshit you. Step 4, when you're being bullied, is to show that you have gone through all of those fucking steps, and it is time to post it on fucking YouTube. That's right. It ain't that I didn't try, it's that nobody wanted to take it seriously. And then when they realized how serious they needed to take it, they realized that they also had fucked up to an extreme by which they could not repair without destroying their own reputations and telling the truth. That's a really tough one. I mean, when you got a lot to lose for telling the truth now. When Laura Nelson, her telling the truth could potentially result in the state coming and stealing her child. Her daughter died in a fire. Now you see how these people have their own emotional turmoil, and they have problems dealing with it. For them, they have, a baby. Not a real marble, it's a bead. They have their own traumas. They have their own dramas. The people in real life, well, the ones who needed to take it seriously absolutely did and knew that they should. Serious enough to fucking hide. If it's not that dangerous a situation, then why the hell did they try to hide the fact that those things were true? Why did I have to record them? Why was I sent to Jen Beebe for all that time? And then court ordered, after already seeing her for about a year, half a year. I don't know, I'd have to go back and look. I'm not trying to lie to you, but it was a while that I was supposed to be working with her and she wasn't doing jack shit. And I was repeatedly cut off from working with her. And then they wanted me to go fill out the paperwork again. I'm being forced to travel back between Nebraska and Colorado for court dates. When I go to jail in Colorado, well, then they drop me at the fucking shit with Region 1. And then they expect me to go through and start all over the paper all over again. So then it's going to take 6 weeks to get services again. And we're starting over from the beginning. And people keep saying that's not my fault. But no, it absolutely is all of your fault. You are now aware that it's happening and you're doing nothing. You're not speaking up. You're not trying to change it. You're talking about what good people you are. Well, that's not what you're showing the world. And that's the thing. You never, ever should have gotten involved to begin with. If you're afraid of your sins, if you're afraid of telling the truth, if you get embarrassed, and all of you get embarrassed or ashamed, Now, since the people who are aware didn't do shit, wasted my dear sweet fucking time and theirs, and it cost a lot of resources to do so. Yeah. The stories I told about Brett Roloff, they're verified by Brett Roloff on my channel. The stories that I told about Maddie Boa are verified by Maddie Boa on my channel. The stories that I told about Natalie Bollinger are verified by Natalie Bollinger on my channel. The stories that I told about Alicia Bollinger are verified on my channel by Alicia Bollinger. The things that I said about Candace Bondurant are verified on my channel by Candace Bondurant. The things that I said about Amy Witcher are verified on my channel by Amy Witcher. The things that I said about Andrew Witcher, as well, verified by Amy Witcher on my channel. The things that I said about Mark Peterson and Jai Rogers are verified by their own words on other people's channels. The fact that they lied is also verified on those channels. So that's wonderful and in my favor as well. The fact that Mike Boudet, the police, and many others attempted to help Ted Bollinger get away against the wishes of Rose, against the wishes of both stepmothers, against the wishes of all victims involved. You guys want to pretend that this is all Joseph Michael Lopez's fault for pulling the trigger. Have you ever been treated like you're mentally ill? Between being treated like I am being treated now and blowing her own fucking head off, well, I can see why she would rather blow her head off. Don't you? 6 years of this. 6 years. And of course, with Laura Nelson teaching me how to take the screenshots, that would have been January 19th of 2018. This is over 2 weeks before they find Joseph Michael Lopez. And it's also before I attempted to commit suicide over the folks at Starbucks who were going to come help me, and they didn't. And I was in that hotel room, and I was afraid that if I didn't kill myself with all of these many people who are telling me that they stuck up for me and people are threatening to kill their families, you know, I couldn't think of any other solution for keeping them safe. I couldn't think of any other way to keep my sister and my niece safe. I couldn't think of any other way to keep Candace Bondurant and her daughters safe. I couldn't think of any other way to keep Laura Nelson and her son safe. I couldn't think of any other way to keep Cara Mia, aka Cara Rogers' kids safe. I didn't know any other way to try to keep Danica Garner's kids safe. I couldn't think of any other way to keep Rochelle Shelley Campbell's kids safe. I couldn't think of any other way to keep Rose M. Kelly safe. I couldn't think of any other way to do that except suicide at that point. I'd tried. I'd been assaulted repeatedly by cops and by the public, and I got 5% power. My external battery is almost dead. It's cooling off enough I'll be able to charge for a few. But like I said, I only panhandled a little bit of gas up. I am so grateful to those people for the gas money. But they had to hand it to me in person. It's not like I could... If they was in Seattle offering money, it's not like I could fly to Seattle and get it. It's not like I have a place to receive it or assist in setting that stuff up. And you guys think that just because I'm smart, I should be able to do that stuff. No. If I knew how to do that stuff, I wouldn't have fucking paid so many people to teach me. The stuff I said about these people is verified and verifiable on my YouTube. The stuff I said about William Barr, you can get that from the courts in Chapel, Nebraska. The stuff that I said about all of these court dates that these officers supposedly claim is true, you guys can pull that shit from those case numbers. You can pull that. That stuff is on my YouTube. Claiming I was fucking arrested in Virginia. Claiming it was for hours, too. It wasn't more than 15 minutes I was stuck out in that fucking road. Jesus, the size of people's imaginations. Now, of course, with the evidence getting stolen, and you can verify those situations, and just in the evidence that was stolen, there's a lot that I still have. So, I mean, there's still convictions that are possible. A lot of them. But just like always, the mentally ill tag, having to talk to the cops by myself, having to wait on somebody else I barely know who doesn't know shit about the situation, who will hopefully talk to these guys with me, and not knowing much about the situation, well, that makes it a little bit difficult, don't it? I gave him a primer, though, so he knows a little bit about what's going on. I'm supposed to make that call at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. A lot of y'all, you get onto one video and you yell at me and say, oh, well, this is what the cop said in that video. I know what the cop said in that video. And in that video, if you scroll down, you get to see somebody saying that a different cop said something else. Well, you know what? I did what that different cop said, and I did what the first cop said. I did both. You tell me to call Marcia Estrada, I'll call Marcia Estrada. You tell me to call Jen Beebe, I call Jen Beebe. What did Jen Beebe say after a year and a half of that fucking bullshit? Oh, well, she may have misspoken. No, that is her job. That's why I was sent to her. She's supposed to help me turn in these fucking crimes. She's supposed to help me to set these things up for my safety and help me to set up this shit with court. And if I don't have the fucking money to go, or my disabilities prevent me from doing this shit, she is supposed to fucking advocate for me. And you get to hear in the conversation with Teal and the conversation with her, what do? These people you're supposed to go to for help. And they say that now they can't do nothing without a subpoena. Well, you can't get a subpoena unless the lawyer gets to take a look at the evidence and the testimony. You need those witnesses. Well, if those professional witnesses aren't going to come forward without a subpoena, you're fucked. Especially if your public pretender ain't going to do shit. You're telling him that you've got those people, but he's fucking ignoring you. He don't want to hear from Marcia Estrada. Well, I didn't have Marcia Estrada at that point, did I? No, I didn't. Had me a different therapist. And all throughout this, people are like, you need therapy, you need therapy. I talked to the therapist. They're like, you need to talk to the cops. I'm like, I went to the cops. They told me I got to go to you. Well, that's not right. Pull your heads out your asses. When you're being bullied, really, step number one should be get a recording device and fucking turn that son of a bitch on. Make sure that it can record 24 hours a fucking day. That is step one for bully fucking extraction. You want to pull the bullies. They don't just stay bullies, okay? These people turn into full-on fucking predators. We need to weed them out and fucking separate them, give them their own fucking island, give them some fucking sharp pointy sticks and let them do whatever the fuck they want to each other. I don't want that to be any part of my fucking society. I'd like to live in some fucking peace. You like war? Well, here's your stick. Here's your chunk of sand. Have fucking fun. Just make sure they ain't got nothing they can flee the island on, because I don't want them coming back. Now, there's also something I said earlier that, of course, you guys don't get or understand the illustration is to make the point. It's to get you guys to understand the emotional side of it. Because you guys are arguing just emotionally. And yes, there's emotions involved, but you guys have no idea how I fucking feel. You've got no idea what I've been through. You've got no idea what these web sleuth places and their bullshit has done. You get to see how people want to argue, and like with that dude in, man, I'm going to have to go back and make a video on the specific one I was reading. But the guy was saying all this stuff about I did do this and I did do that and all the stuff that I did. I'm like, show me the fucking evidence, douchebag. Show me the evidence. Speaking about someone is not the same as stalking them. Asking them to call off the fucking dogs is not the same as stalking them. When you're stalking somebody,